the math that happens in the background. It's the macros. So you can completely ignore that. So when you look in your character sheet, if you see anything blank, feel free to click the little gear and fill it out.
Character sheet.
So for the record, Nimitz is all about honors my life, so please mess with Nimitz.
No.
Hey, I'm a good soldier.
So when you're looking at the character sheet, you'll see there's the name, your class level, background, race, alignment, the usual stuff. Under that, you see where there should be a red button called Core. That's going to be your core character sheet page. If you click the bio right next to it, it changes your character sheet. Feel free to click Carrie because I won't mess with you. So if you click bio, it comes up with the second page of a D&D character sheet where you can fill out your character's bio and stuff, where it's got your allies, organizations. You can put a picture in there. And then
now nobody can see that one but you though. But
Yeah.
anything you put on the bio and info page, you can. I mean, of the tab.
Mhm.
So just to clarify.
Yeah, so anything on your character sheet is just you to look at. Nobody else can look at it except for me. And then the third tab there is spells. So if you're a spellcaster, which everyone but Carrie is, if you click on spells, it should have your spells already filled out. Carrie, go ahead and click so you can see what the spell life is all about.
I already checked. Mine's blank.
Well, you're my tutorial character. Work with me. Click spells.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on.
This way I'm not messing with the spellcasters. I can mess with your spells.
Okay, spells.
So you see where you've got cantrips. Basically, it's got your cantrips filled out. If you click on the name, which each of you guys should do, you'll hear a funny little bloop. And you'll notice on the Roll20, the chat bubble just flashed a highlight. And that beep basically tells you that somebody's done something. So like Zoe just clicked guidance. So if you guys look in the chat window, you'll see it's Zoe's spell is right there for everyone to see.
Yep.
And that way she knows immediately, boom, there's what guidance is. Which makes life so much easier. No looking up books, no flipping pages. Roll20 is really kind in that regard.
I do like it that way. It's nice.
Yeah.
If you want to see what just the spell does for yourself, you can click the little comic book chat bubble that you see next to the spell's name on the right side of the name, and it'll open it up.
The comic book chat bubble posts it, I thought.
No, it's only if you hit the word. Or no, it's the gear, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the gear will let, or the info. The info will open it up, the eye in the circle.
Mm-hmm.
The speech bubble actually pastes it. As you can see, Levy pasted thaumaturgy. Do you guys see that?
Up here. So we're down here. Is that us?
What was that?
Yeah, I think it's because you guys are in the same room. And it kind of picks up one person's voice on not their microphone and their microphone at the same time, but it's a quarter second behind. And then eventually that sound turns into this high shrill ping that just goes ping, 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 ping.
The machine that goes ping!
Nova's going into the other room.
And
my computer's not a moving computer. His it is.
It's okay. So on the top of the spellcasting page, you'll see your spellcasting ability, which for our warlock is charisma, because she's all about being charismatic. Our cleric is wisdom, because it's all about being wise. And our wizard is all about intel, because it's all about being smart.
Hold on, I'm going to go show Nova real quick where we're at, because that's what he just asked me.
Oh, okay. And sweetie, if you can give them a walkthrough on the spellcasting page, I'll go bring the dogs in.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be back.
All right, so can you guys hear me?
I can.
I don't think Zoe's there yet.
Yeah, so Zoe's not back yet.
You got it? Nova's getting plugged in. Are you walking him through it then, hon?
Oh, well, I'm going to walk both of you through the spell casting.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, so now if you're familiar with you have your spell save DC at the top, and you have your spell attack bonus at the top, and it also has the number of cantrips that you can cast, as well as you see above it, it's got the spell slots. Like, so on level 1 spells, it posts your total slots and your total slots remaining. So when you cast a spell, then you have to remember it, unless you remember automatically. It won't automatically adjust it. So you would go in and, okay, I just cast Cure Wounds, so I'm going to drop that down. My spell slot remaining is 1 as opposed to 2. And then if I cast Healing Word, I have no more level 1 spell slots. Okay, at least until, a long rest.
Gotcha.
So it's got a spell tracker in there. It just, you have to manually adjust it. So,
Okay.
and in so I can, if you click on, like, although I'm going to be getting rid of this one because I don't know why Jim gave me this one, but if you click on the name of the spell, it will post it into the thing, into the chat, where people can see it. Now you did ones that actually have like attacks. You can do it there or on your core sheet. You know how it says spells, bio, and core?
Okay, yeah.
Jim should have added under in the middle of that that page. There's going to be attacks and spell casting. Do you guys see it? The box that says attacks and spell casting. It's going to have weapons. It's going to have spells. It's to the right of the skills themselves. It's a small box right in the middle of the screen. Okay, are you on the first page of your character sheet?
Yeah.
The one that has your name. Okay, and you see where it says armor class and the little shield?
Oh, got it, yeah.
Okay, now if you keep going down a little bit to the middle of the page, you're going to see attacks and spellcasting. Do you see that box?
Yes.
Okay, now these are pretty much your main spells or your main weapons and stuff. So if your spell is in this window as well, you can cast it from here as well. So like, for example, I'm going to hit you with Sacred Flame, and I press it there. So as you can see, it rolled the DC 13, then it's a dexterity save. So Jim knows that, okay, I cast Sacred Flame. It's got a 60-foot range. They have to make a dexterity saving throw and beat 13. Or 13 or higher. So if they don't, then they're going to take 6 points of radiant damage because it already rolled my damage. Okay, but now say I attacked with like, let's see, I did Guiding Bolt, same type of thing. It's but you see it's got 12 and 12.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, since it's an attack spell, then it's basically I have to beat their armor class.
Okay.
So, and the reasons why it's got 12 and 12 is because say I rolled with advantage. Not that it really matters with this because it's the exact same roll. Let me cast it again so see if it does better. There we go. Okay. See, so here, when I cast Guiding Bolt, I got a 21 and a 10. That means my first roll, if I was just rolling regular, I got hit with a 21. Okay, if I had advantage or say disadvantage, the 10 would apply. Now, if you put your mouse over it, it will actually tell you what it composed that, the math on it. But okay, so I got a 21. I hit. Okay, then what I do is I hit the guiding bolt on the screen over to the in the chat one, and it's gonna go ahead and ask me a question. It will input a value. So what level do I cast that spell at? So I choose level 1, and then I submit, and it's going to give me, oh, okay, I did 12 points of radiant damage. So a lot of your spells, if they have the ability to cast them at different levels, you'll get a separate window when it goes to damage.
Okay.
Okay, so you get the first 2, which are your basically what you're rolling your d20s, see if you hit. And then if you hit, you click on the guiding bolt itself. It'll turn kind of red on the side there. You don't want to do it on your character sheet. You want to do it on the chat window for the damage. And then when you click on the guiding bolt, like I did, it's going to give me the damage down below. So it did 12 radiant damage. So one of you has Eldritch Blast. See if you can cast it from the attacks and spellcasting page. Again. Okay. And now, see, we'll say you had advantage and you succeeded. Oh, and just as an FYI, if one of these numbers, the 10 or the 22, came up in a red text or a green text, a green means you actually got a natural 20. And of course, a red means you got a natural 1.
Ooh.
And it will be held accountable as that. So, yeah, I got a 5, but it's red, which means you failed. So now click Eldritch Blast on the screen. See, you did 10 points of force damage.
All right.
Okay. Now, did it ask you if to select a level that you were casting the spell at?
No, it's a cantrip.
Oh, okay. So it's a cantrip.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So if you pick one of your, say, your attacking first level spells, you may get the option when you click attack. Okay, it'll roll, the dice, so to speak. And then if you click on the spell again to do the damage, at that point, you may get a small window pop up that says, what level do you want to cast this spell at? Okay, and then of course, right now we have to say 1 because we're just level 1, and then it will do the damage based on that. Because if you tell it, yeah, I'm casting it at a level 5, it's going to roll a completely different set of dice. So, any questions on that?
No, I
That's-
think I got it.
Yeah. And you can roll. So for example, you don't have to keep flipping to your spell tab for if you're in combat and you don't want to, you want to do just one of your regular attack standby type of thing. Staying on the core tab, where the attacks and spellcasting is, can be helpful, because that way, if you have to also do, like, say, a constitution check or something like that, it's all on this main page for you. Of course, if you want to go to one of your more obscure spells or do something like that, then you'll click over on them, and you'll cast it from that page. But just remember your spell slots. If you use a spell off of here, you'll want to go into your spell tab to reduce the amount of spell slots. So, okay, I cast that first level spell. I knock my number down for remaining slots.
I'm going to let you for a bit. I'm going to put you on mute, just so you know.
Okay.
She's like, I don't want to hear this
we just have
spellcasty
to.
stuff.
keep our spell slots in mind. We're pretty low level, so we're not going to get that many. But that's what cantrips are for. Cantrips you can fire all day without a problem.
Yep.
So these are bread and butter. Now, speaking of spells, okay, as we have 3 casters, I just wanted to make sure that some of our stuff isn't doubled up. Like, for example, do any of you have prestidigitation?
I do.
No.
Okay, you do?
Oh yeah.
Nova?
Yep.
Yay! Lovey is going to be your best friend. And the reason being is because she's kind of prissy, and prestidigitation will clean things.
Oh.
Okay. And I have thaumaturgy on here, but I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to do mending as one of my cantrips, which means you can clean things that are like a foot radius. I can mend things in a foot radius. And when
Okay.
you're only 2.5 feet tall, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So, now I also, as my other cantrips are Spare the Dying and Sacred Flame, which are purely cleric ones. So I just didn't know, I didn't take light, but since we're all Felis and we all have dark vision,
Yeah.
I didn't take it, but you know, I didn't know if either one of you had.
No.
Okay. Now I have, for my first level spells, I guess I have Bless, Cure Wounds, Healing Word, Guiding Bolt, Protection from Good and Evil, and Ceremony. I think somebody else had Ceremony as well, or no, that was just me.
And remember, as a cleric, each morning you can ask your god for whatever spell that is appropriate for your level.
Yeah, you can switch out your spells.
Unfortunately, our warlock and wizard can't.
Oh, they can't?
Nope.
Ah, interesting.
Well, our wizard can swap out what spells he has in his spell book, because he'll have a certain number, but he can only memorize so many per day. And our warlocks get kind of shortchanged in magic because they've been just pumped with the power. They don't actually have any spell knowledge per se. It's because they pick up a bunch of supernatural stuff later.
Okay, so when you do want to add a spell, of course, on the spell tab, there's a plus sign, and this is going to be similar for the mechanics for the other things. You would go ahead and hit the plus sign and basically fill out the, I don't think, it won't automatically populate one, right, sweetie?
No, it won't. Everything at this point has to be put in completely manually.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to go and find mending.
Come back.
Matter of fact, I'll bring it up.
And
But in order to remove what?
I was
Sweetie?
going to say, as a cheat for you casters, if you're looking for a spell, just Google the name of the spell and then put 5th E and enter. And usually the first or second choice will be the actual spell on Roll20, where you can copy everything and paste everything.
Okay.
Which makes life easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for some of the low-level stuff, if you go into the compendium, which at the top next to journal, it's a little circle with an eye in it. There is some spells in there, some of the very base spells. So, like, I'm looking for mending. It's probably going to be in there. Let me take a look. Yep, mending is in there. So I can open it up, and then I can copy and paste some of that into it.
Nice.
So, let me go back here. Ranges, touch. Trend.
And what she's saying in the compendium is mending is a cantrip and transmutation. Casting time 1 minute, range touch. It has, and when it says components on your spells, when it says V, that's a verbal component, so that means you're doing the abracadabra. Somatic means you're moving your hands, so you're obviously casting a spell or having a spasm, one or the other. And M means material, it consumes something. So like me and Nova were talking earlier, if you have a component pouch as your equipment, you pretty much have anything cheap. Now it's not going to have what a cleric needs at level 5 for resurrection, which is like a really expensive diamond that turns to dust when you're finished. So it basically has anything under a certain coin value automatically in there that you've been assimilating these things in your pouches. You've got a little bit of ash, you've got a tear, you've got a couple drops of water. So whatever components that your spells use, it'll have it listed there. Like for her mending, it uses 2 lodestones.
So 2 tiny fragments of magnet, basically.
Mm-hmm. That stick together. Like those clickety-clack rocks that kids get.
Yep.
That's really just 2 magnets. Duration is instantaneous, and then it lists what classes can use the skill. And then it gives a brief description, which is the spell repairs a single break or tear in an object you touch, such as a broken chain link, 2 halves of a broken key, a torn cloak, or a leaky wineskin. As long as the break or tear is no larger than 1 foot in any dimension, you mend it, leaving no trace of the damage.
Exactly. So all of our stuff can totally be, and I can cast it as many times as I like. So between Nova and I, we will be all of our gear will be in perfect condition and clean. And as cats, we appreciate cleanliness.
Yeah.
My character in particular, it is one of her personality traits.
I love it.
So when you do it and you enter it, you hit done, and then it will now be one of the spells that's available to you. But in order to do it, you're going to see a little lock symbol, and you have to click on that until it's shows unlocked, and then it will show unlocked, and then basically you can delete a spell. So like I just deleted thaumaturgy because I can't have 4 cantrips. I can only have 3. So I deleted thaumaturgy and I took mending. So now I have it updated in there, but make sure you relock it just in case. You don't want to accidentally delete one of your spells.
It's a major pain in the butt when that happens.
Exactly. So any questions on spells?
The only question I have is, as far as being a wizard, I know I have my book that has my 6 spells. Do I only have the 2 that I've memorized?
Well, what it is each day when you cast spells as a wizard, you decide what spells you researched that morning or that night. So it's like today I'm memorizing these spells, and you only have a certain number that you can memorize. You know a bunch of spells, but aside from your cantrips are the only spells that you know unlimited. Because you've cast this super simple spell so many times that it automatically is something that you can do at a moment's notice.
Okay. Just saying, where it says slots total, it says 2.
Yeah. So basically, that's how much magical power you can pump out in one day without like severely burning yourself out.
Okay.
And when it says slots, that doesn't necessarily mean, so say you have 2 spells learned, okay? You don't have to use separate spells. You could cast the same spell twice.
Okay.
You just only know 2 and you have 2 slots.
Okay.
But so like for me, I have 2 first level spell slots. I could cast Cure Wounds twice, or I could do Cure Wounds and Healing Word, or I could do Healing Word and Guiding Bolt. Thing.
All right. Cool.
And one thing for a wizard that's really important is if you find spell scrolls, you may want to put those in your book instead of using them. And if you kill a wizard or steal his book, you can copy those spells into your book. It just costs money to get the proper inks to put them in your book, so you can start adding to your repertoire.
Okay, all right, cool.
So, as a wizard, I'm going to read the little class for the preparing and spell casting. So, the wizard table tells you how many spells you can cast at per day. So, you prepare the list of wizard spells that are available for you to cast. Choose a number of wizard spells from your spellbook equal to your intelligence modifier and your level. The spells must be of a level which you can cast, which basically it's level 1. So, for you, it's your intel modifier plus your level. So.
Okay.
And that's how many spells you can prepare. On your spell sheet, you'll notice that where the spell's name are, there's a little circle before the name.
Yeah.
So you can, when you decide, so what's your intelligence modifier? It'll be on the left-hand side on intelligence. It'll be the plus number.
So on your first page,
Yeah.
where it has your skills.
Should be a 3.
Okay, so that means each day you can prepare 4 spells. You basically whip out your cliff notes and read the cliff notes to refresh yourself, and you can click 4 of those spells that you have access to, that you've basically as the old MMO folks say, you've memmed those spells, so you have access to those for the day. Now you can
Okay.
cast 2 of any combination you choose. So you can cast the same spell twice, or you can cast 2 totally different spells, but you can only cast from the ones that you've memorized. Now,
Okay.
when it comes to like our cleric, every morning she can ask her god for a different spell, so she can constantly be changing up her spell list.
So, like, for example, if I know we're going to be heading into an area that a certain spell would be more beneficial than one of the ones that I normally use, I could prepare that one in advance.
Okay.
And in theory, that you can change your prepared spells, but you have to take a long rest. So you're basically committing a lot of time to practicing the spell, doing the hand motions, pretty much pre-casting it in your brain, so that way it's ready.
Okay.
And one important thing for wizards and clerics is you both have access to ritual casting.
Mm-hmm.
So any spell that says ritual, instead of casting it as a really quick pop spell that you're shooting off really fast like Harry Dresden, you can cast it as a ritual, which takes about 10 minutes, and it does not burn up one of your spell slots, which is why rituals are really nice. So if you do like identify magic item or,
Yeah, it's going to say detect magic and comprehend languages.
So if you know that you've got time and you can do the 10-minute ritual, you can cast the spell that way, not burning up one of your slots.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because manipulating the fabric of reality is kind of rough on the system.
Yeah.
Now, our wizard does have, if you look on the first page of your character sheet, on the far left-hand side, if you scroll down, you'll see a bunch of powers listed in red letters. There's one called Arcane Recovery. It'll be in the box that's in the bottom left side of your character sheet on the bio tab. Oh, sorry, I'm not on the bio tab, on the core tab.
Oh, okay. It's on the right side.
So if you, sorry, right side, duh. If you click on the word Arcane Recovery, it'll populate what the power means. And that's a cool thing for wizards, because if you take a short rest, you can actually choose to recover a spell slot during that short rest.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, that's nice.
Which is really nice that you can, if you can catch a breather, you can refocus and choose to get it back. But it's only
That's
once per
very
day
nice.
you can do that.
Otherwise, it'd be uber powerful.
Mm-hmm.
God, how you guys have all this stuff memorized.
Well, it doesn't hurt that I've got the PDF up right now.
Well, yeah. I think you guys playing it for a while kind of helps a lot too.
That too, just a little. So
Of course,
on your
we
character
should-
sheet, if you guys all want to jump back to the core page, is Carrie back?
I'm here.
So on your character sheet, you'll notice that on the far left side, you've got numbers and boxes. So it has your strength, your dex, your con, your intel, and your wisdom, and your charisma. The little number is the actual number that you have, and the big number is what your plus or minus is to things. So each ability score relates to a saving throw as well as skills. So that all funnels down to add to stuff. Currently, you guys are first level, which means you have a proficiency bonus of 2, which you should see in the circle there.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
anything, what that means is anything that you are trained in and good at, you get +2 and your characteristic bonus.
Ooh.
So that's a good thing. That's something you're trained in. Like if you're the wizard, you have good intel and wisdom, I think.
Okay.
And you'll see blue check marks in your saving throws for intel and wisdom, because it means that you're very smart and you make good decisions. Because those two are not the same thing. Wisdom and intelligence can often be
Yeah.
strangers. And then you'll see your skills. Now, if you wave your mouse over the saving throw names, strength, dex, con, you see it highlights red. If you
Yep.
click it, it'll roll a saving throw for you. So if I say make a wisdom saving throw, you would just click the wisdom button and it'll do the saving throw for you.
Okay.
And like Kelly was saying, when you do the roll, if you wave your mouse over the number, it'll tell you how it came to that number. It'll say, here's what the dice roll was, here's what your modifier was, and here's what your proficiency bonus was.
So like here, I just did a wisdom. Oh, see, look, I got a 6, which means I got a natural 1.
Yeah.
So if you
And you
wave
can
your mouse
see
over her 6,
1.
you'll see 1, and then she's +5.
Mhm.
So obviously in this situation, her wisdom did not stop her from walking into whatever she walked into. Skills
Yeah.
work literally the same exact way. So you have your D&D skills, which pretty much they're kind of generic to cover everything. So if you, in game, you can play off doing something for something. It's just you need to justify how it works. If I'm doing history to get a head up on the local guards because I'm pulling out legal history on them, you could go it that way, or you could go intimidation. Different ways. So you
Okay.
just click the name of the skill and it'll roll the skill for you.
Okay.
A little further down. Did you have something to say, sweetie?
Oh, well, no, I was just kind of clearing my throat.
Oh, I heard
It's
you
been
taking a breath.
dusty.
So below your skills, you'll see passive perception. So you have a skill called perception. That's when I'm actively looking for trouble. I'm looking for that trap. I'm looking for the guy in the crowd who looks like he's got a concealed weapon. Passive perception is one that I use because that's what I need to know. So say my rogue rolled a 10. No one has to roll perception to see him because your passive perception is better than that. You saw how bad this guy was trying to hide in the crowd. And it's that scene in the movie where you see the pickpocket blatantly grabbing purses, and he sucked at hiding.
Yep.
Some of you guys will have tool proficiencies and custom skills. Usually those relate to your backgrounds. Different backgrounds have different tools. So some can have like blacksmith, researcher, scribe, things like that. If you click on the proficiency that you have, it'll pop up a thing saying query. And it's going to ask you what stat are you using with that skill. So if you're doing, say, brewing, say your character has a brewer, and you're deciding to use agility because you remember the old Tom Cruise movie Cocktails where they're throwing the drinks in the air? He's using his agility to make his brewery cool. Or it could be someone using intelligence because you're remembering that recipe. It's up to you and how you want to use your proficiencies. Proficiencies are super cool. Once you've played a little bit and you know what your proficiencies are, I'll share links for the book Xanathars, which gives you really cool things you can do. So like alchemy can make healing potions. Blacksmith can make armor. You can eventually get to the point where you can make magic items, which is really nice. You know, if you have an apothecary kit, you can cure poisons. So all super handy things. Below that, you've got what languages and weapons that you're good with. So anyone can try to fight with anything, but you really want to stick to what you're good with. I mean, in a pinch, you can pick up a chair and swing it at somebody, but it's not going to be as good as your weapons. And just by the way, you all have kitty claws that do 1d4 plus your strength, which some of you guys, that's a -1. So you can scratch someone successfully and do 0 points of damage. So next we have the middle of your character sheet. You've got your armor class, you've got your initiative, and you've got your speed. By the way, for small size creatures, 25 is normal for small size creatures because you don't have those big old 3-foot long legs with that stride.
Mm-hmm. We've got cute little legs.
Then you've got your hit points. You'll notice the line on top is your maximum. Never touch that line. Always touch the current one. You can either do the click up or click down, or when I show you your tokens, you can change your hit points in your token, and it'll show on your character sheet, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys have a spell that gives you temporary hit points, you just add those in your temporary hit point box. Then below that, you have your hit dice, which that means whenever you take a long or a short rest, a long rest is about 6 to 8 hours, a short rest is about an hour. In 4th edition, it used to be 15 minutes, which I liked way better personally, but it's an hour for a short rest and 6 to 8 hours for a long rest. You can choose to spend those hit dice to heal up during that rest. So you would just click the hit dice number.
You click the hit dice, it'll turn red, and then you can.
And then it'll tell you how many hit points you
Again, I
healed
rolled
up.
a natural 1.
Well, you're just getting all your ones out now, Kel.
Yeah,
So-
that's it.
Yep, burn that bad karma now. So the next one is death saves. So say the worst happened and you got killed. In D&D, the way it works for player characters is once you're down to 0, you're passed out on the ground bleeding out. So each time it becomes your turn after you're bleeding out and dying, you have to roll a d20. You want to get higher than 10. Everything higher than 10 is a success. Everything below is a failure. If you crit fail, that's 2 fails. If you crit succeed, you actually wake back up with 1 hit point. So if you roll a 20 on a death save, that's what you want. You immediately do the superhero blink your eyes and you walk it off. If you have 3 failures, your character dies. And then everyone is sad. We cry. It doesn't happen often
And then we
because
bemoan it to the DM and make him resurrect it.
well, and that's expensive. I mean, 10,000 gold piece. Think how much you're gonna owe a church. Or you could always have a player throw out there that, I think I'm gonna take Warlock my next level, and I have a patron who saves my life and brings me back to life.
Okay.
Somebody can
now,
get away
of
with that
course,
once. But because we have a cleric, Kelly, go ahead and tell them about that cool spell that you always take that you should always take.
First off, okay. Now, if say you guys had a healing spell and you wanted to use it on somebody who was doing their death saves, you really don't want to do it unless it's absolutely necessary. And the reason being is because say you cast your 1 heal and it's your uber heal, that's not going to heal them. All that's going to do is stabilize them. So it means you succeeded. You're not dying anymore. You didn't heal, but you're basically at 0. But you're not going to die.
Your wounds have clotted. Your internal bleeding has stopped. You're not coughing up blood anymore. But you've just quietly passed out.
Yeah. So, ideally, as a cleric, and I always take this cantrip, always, is I take the cantrip Spare the Dying. Spare the Dying allows me to go up to this dead person, or
dying. You should say
dying person, and I lay my hands upon you, and I spare you. Okay, that means that automatically, and it's a cantrip, so boom, it's like doesn't cost anything. So it stabilizes the person, and then at that point, any healing potions, any healing spells will actually count towards healing.
Cool.
So Just as an FYI.
And yes, you can go up to someone, bite the cork off a healing potion, and for an action, pour the potion down their throat. That is something you can do, by the way. Or you can use a
Or
medicine
do
kit.
a medicine check on them to try and stabilize their, like, so for example, I've got a +5 in medicine, say, for some reason I was completely out of healing spells and I didn't have Spare the Dying as a cantrip. I could roll a medicine on them, and and if it succeeded, that would stabilize them.
Just needs a 10
And then
or
they
better.
wouldn't have to worry about the death saves.
10 or better, you rip your shirt or skirt and you shove it on the wound and put pressure down, and the wound seals itself up.
You know, rub some dirt in it, tell them to walk it off.
So underneath death saves, you have your weapons should be listed. Now, for most of you guys who have spell casting, your spell damage should be listed there. So if you just click the name, it'll, as you guys were already messing with earlier, you saw how it rolled the d20s for you, and it could give you the damage right afterwards. Like if Nova wants to click sleep, because that's a unique spell among spells, that's a spell that you have to roll how much sleepiness you make to see how many people are affected. So when he clicks sleep, within a 90-foot area, 22 hit points of creatures, starting with the lowest creature, starts to fall asleep.
So hopefully the minions all fall asleep. It probably won't put a big bad to sleep, but you could knock out all the minions.
You put the army of kobolds to sleep. But the dragon just laughs at you. So then under that, you've got your currency and your equipment. Lots of cool equipment stuff. It's a pain in the butt to enter that manually. It's really nice when the character mentor does it for you, which is what I use to make your characters. It saves me so much work.
That's why he requested all of this specific information, like what type of pack and what kind of, to help him do this.
It lets me save you like 2 hours of work because I just have to basically click. Like if you watch that one video I sent you, when I made your character, it took me 30 minutes or less to make your whole character. And that was with me talking and walking someone through when I was doing it. So then you've got the far right column, which is your personality, your traits, your ideals, and your bonds. Those are really important because in 5th edition, something that got added to 5th from basically stolen from other RPGs, which I love because I took best practices and used them. That's your character's role-playing stuff. That's strictly something for you to pick in there.
This puts the ROLE back into role-playing as opposed to ROLL.
So when you play to your character, feel free to bug me if I don't say it, but when you play to those, the personality, the ideal, the bonds, and the flaws, and by the way, I will throw those in the adventure so they do become pressure points for you to just do I do the right thing or do I do my thing? Because sometimes your flaws, you're busy chasing something, you never turn down a drink. You're running by a tavern and a guy, holds a flask out for you in a chase scene, and you're just like, shit. Or if it's your ideals, I may put that in front of you as basically story bait to, hey, here's the story, follow the story because I know it's in your ideal. When you follow those 4 basic concepts of your character, you can earn inspiration. Inspiration is a great mechanic for 5th edition because basically it means when you really want to succeed, you can spend your inspiration, and then when you roll anything that's related to a d20, so if it's a saving throw, a skill, an attack.
So like you see my wisdom saving throw that I did up there?
Yeah.
And I got that 6. But before I had rolled, if I had said I'm using my inspiration, I can ignore that 6 and choose the 23.
Okay.
But by the same token, if Jim told me, well, yeah, you can roll wisdom, but you're at disadvantage. Okay, I roll it, and then I get the 6.
Okay.
Because when you play to that, on the left-hand side of your character sheet at the very top, you see the little box that says inspiration. You can click on that, and a cool little icon will pop up that looks like a dragon. I thought it was really cool. So that way players can keep track of it. If you're playing in person, I like to throw poker chips at you because they feel really nice when they hit the table. Good poker chips. And
Actually, I got him special ones.
Mhm.
Oh, those are pretty.
and you can use the inspiration for any role for yourself that your character is inspired, because earlier you built up this reservoir of inspiration.
But you can only have one inspiration at a time.
Mhm.
So, use them when you think, but don't necessarily hoard them, because if you're playing to your character's personality traits and flaws and stuff, you will get more back. And all you got to do with Jim is say we're doing something and I'm like, oh my God, I am such a mess. Because my personality trait is I take great pains to always look my best and have a penchant for things that sparkle and shine. So if I oh, there is a rip in my dress. Oh, mend. Guess what? I can hint that to Jim and he can give me inspiration. Or my ideal is everyone should aspire to something, be it social standing, transcendence, or simply the best napping spot. And it's so I can play to these different, characteristics.
Okay.
And all you got to do is tell Jim, and then it's like he'll tell you, okay, you get inspiration. Of course, he may say, no.
I say that to Carrie often.
Yeah.
Aw.
Especially when she has inspiration, she's milking inspiration.
Yeah, I always tell you when I have inspiration.
So certain things, whatever, and we should go over what each of our personality traits and such are, just so we know each other's characters.
And also,
inspiration is a really great tool.
Speaking of advantage, disadvantage, it's not just with inspiration does advantage and disadvantage happen. So story-wise, if you guys came up with a great plan, you're on the balcony ready to ambush the people in a kill box, you use good tactics, I can say you guys got an advantage on that because you literally have an advantageous situation. However,
or you can also argue, it's like, well, wouldn't that put them at a disadvantage?
So if I'm attacking you with a swinging tree log, that classic booby trap that you find in the jungle, but you guys are knee deep, and since you're short little cats, it's kind of funny. It's really ankle deep mud, but you guys are slogging through knee deep mud. That's a very disadvantaged situation. So when you roll your dex save to dive out of the way of this booby trap when it goes off, you're SOL because the situation is not to your liking.
No.
Yeah.
So and story wise, feel free to ask well, since this is this, would that put us at advantage or would that put them at disadvantage? As long as we're not slowing down the gameplay, you can by all means ask, because sometimes I'll be so busy throwing the window dressing out for you guys on the scene that I forgot to think about that.
Okay.
Or we just might have a really good idea that was never thought of, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, I can see that.
So under that, you guys will have some other boxes that have different things. I know for Nova, since I'm peeking at his character sheet, he has Arcane Recovery 1. So it's got a little one in the top and then a big one that he can click up and down, so he knows that he's got that if he uses it. So I know our cleric should have something in there for Channel Divinity, right?
Yeah, actually, it's
or that's
not
at
on
second
there.
level you get that.
Yeah, I don't get it yet.
Yeah, you don't get Channel Divinity.
But because of my background, I get a position of privilege.
However, our warlock, since she chose to be a warlock of goody-goodiness, which is awesome for Luna, you have this cool ability, since you're a warlock of good celestial stuff, that is something recovery. I have to refresh my page to pull your character sheet up, as my page is refreshing slowly. As my page is refreshing very slowly. So our warlock warlock actually has a number of D6s she can heal people. Just have a D6.
Ooh, see, that's nice. It's always nice to have a backup heal.
And the
Because
nice
I
thing,
only have so many spells.
and the nice thing is Zoe's celestial warlock heals don't count against her spellcasting, which warlocks, as magic users, warlocks have one of the crappiest magic reserves.
Yeah.
Mainly because they're borrowing someone's magic, they're not actually using it themselves.
So
Uh-huh.
Warlocks get like little side powers to help even them out to be cool.
So they considered loosely like cantrips.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So, because right now I only have 2 healing spells that I can cast a day. But my medicine is +5, so that's not bad. My cleric is a cleric of the life domain. So, I mean, later on I'm going to be a friggin' monster at heals. But right now, I got 2. That's it. That's it all I can do for a day.
So
So having a backup heal would be great.
So for looking at Luna on Zoe's character sheet, under your flaws you've got Healing Light, which shows 2. And if you look a little further down, you'll see that you have an ability called Healing Light that's in red text. Go ahead and click that. And it tells you it's the celestial. So at first level, you gain the ability to channel celestial energy to heal wounds. You have a pool of d6s that you can spend to fuel this power. The number of dice in this pool is 1 plus your warlock level. So technically, as you can shoot 2d6s worth of healing at your friends as a bonus action, which is great because bonus action healing is great. So as a bonus action, you can heal 1 creature you can see within 60 feet, spending a dice from your pool. So basically what you would do on your weapons part of your character sheet, the very last thing is Healing Light. Go ahead and click that word. So when you say you're wanting to heal Kelly, you would just say I'm using Healing Light, and you would click Healing Light in weapons section. And boom, within 60 feet, you can heal 1 creature you can see within 60 feet, and you heal Kelly for 5 points.
Nice.
That's like a really good dagger to somebody's back, and you've just healed it. And what you would do on the box that says Healing Light with the number 2, you would just click down to 1 so you know that you've spent 1 of your 2d6s.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then you have another ability called Good Fortune, which I think is related to your Katniss.
That's because she's a calico, right?
Uh-huh. So if you scroll down on the bottom left-hand side where it's got your powers and abilities and you click Felis Lineage Good Fortune, it'll pop up with what that means for you. I still love the fact that you all have persuasion.
Persuasion.
And by the way, just for the record, you all have investigation as a natural proficiency skill, because apparently cats are very curious natured.
Curious, yeah.
So for Good Fortune, the calico fur is the rarest of the Felis lineages. Legends say that all the black-furred Felis' luck went to the calico. Once per day when you roll an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can choose to re-roll, but you must accept the new results. So once per day you can say, I don't like that roll, especially if it's a natural 1. I'm going to re-roll that.
That's pretty cool.
And then you just click the little box that you used your once per day, and it keeps track of it. So if you guys play 2 or 3 sessions without a long rest, you guys don't lose track of what's what and all that good stuff.
Nice.
And see, I chose Tabby specifically because I knew I was going to be the cleric, because they get a increased wisdom, which is a cleric's bread and butter.
And some of you guys,
trust me, I'm not, it may be common bond, but I may be a tabby, but I am anything but common.
And of course, in the where it's got your abilities on the bottom right-hand side, there may also be one that each of you guys have that's related to your background. Like our warlock has rustic hospitality. Basically, you know how to blend in with the common folk and get treated to hospitality, which can be a very important thing.
Okay. Like I have researcher.
Yep, like you have researcher since you're a sage.
And like me, since thanks to my noble birth, people are inclined to think the best of me, and I'm welcome in high society. And I can usually get in to see somebody, noble or the higher social spheres.
We need your wizard to get the floating disc spell, so you can be like King Rigel floating around.
That's right. I forgot it.
She would totally love that. Lovey would be all over that. Of course.
And now I'm peeking into Lovey's character sheet real quick because she's a position of privilege. Okay. So that's pretty much, and your claws give you climb speed, by the way. You are one of the few races that has a natural climb speed.
Ooh.
So instead of having to roll athletics as your action, you can just climb the wall and still fight with swords, Granted, one of your hands has to be used to make sure you have a handhold.
Yeah.
One does not want to climb a wall and then swing a glaive. And you all have different currency. If you look in the equipment section, the gold coins, second from the bottom. So it's all, the cash that you have on you is based on your background for the most part.
Okay.
Okay, but the packs come with gold as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be both of those.
So I have more gold than what I have.
No, you everything should be auto-calculated. You should be seeing the correct number there.
So the background replaces what the pack comes with?
You mean the basic equipment, not the pack.
Yeah, okay, because the priest pack comes with X amount of gold, but as a noble, I get, it said I have a purse of an additional X amount of gold.
Correct. But what do you mean
So
the
you
priest
add
pack?
those two together.
What do you mean the priest pack said it had gold?
Hey, hold on. Let me bring up my... Okay. Under equipment.
All right, where do you guys see the money at? I, for some reason, can't find it.
It'll be on the middle of the character sheet at the bottom. There's a couple different gold coins.
Okay, so a priest pack says 19 gold, includes or is that how much it costs?
That's how much it costs. And it includes a backpack,
okay.
a blanket, 10 candles, tinderbox, alms box. That's where more gold comes from.
Okay.
Block of
so
incense.
I was confused then.
Yeah, that's the price of how much it is to get it. Because it's basically just a ready-made kit that some of you guys have. Like some of you guys have a scribe's kit, a scribe's pack, or a dungeon delver's kit.
So, but because I'm a noble, I start off with 25 gold.
Mm-hmm. Whereas most folks only have like 10.
Yep.
Even though I'm a salaried soldier for the Felis?
You spent it all in dice and drinks.
No.
No, you gave it to your clan.
That's right.
She's clan honor. I'm clan Yowl.
You saw that one guy that didn't get paid and you thought it would be horrible not to give him the money. So you gave him your fair share. Okay, so any questions on your character sheets?
No. We should go around and give out each of our personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Carrie, you want to start?
Sure. Okay. So, my personality trait.
Introduce your character, Carrie.
What?
Introduce yourself.
I'm Nimitz of Clan Honor. I am a fiery orange marmalade tabby. Okay, so like I've got like
She's
I'm
a
like-
ginger.
I am. I'm a ginger, and
Excuse me. He's a ginger.
He's a ginger. Yes, I'm playing a male character, male cat. And I'm 3 foot tall as you can get, and and most of my family are magic users, but my predilections were for the more martial arts. So everyone thought it would be best if I just became a soldier, and suited me fine because that, like I said, I'm better at that than. So since I was not the runt of the litter but the largest, it made perfect sense, and my personality trait is I can stare down a hellhound without flinching, and my ideal is the greater good. Our lot is to lay down our lives for others. Okay, and then my bond is my honor is my life, which kind of goes along with I'm Clan Honor. So
you take it seriously.
I take it seriously. And then my flaw is I'd rather eat my own armor than admit that I'm wrong.
So you're pretty much a cat
Because
Mandalorian.
I'm never wrong.
You're stubborn.
And since we are talking about her character real quick, Carrie, don't forget you have on your abilities there, you've got fighting style is defensive, which gives you a bonus to your AC.
Right. Because you've got my shield on there. Yes. So I fight with a shield.
And you have second wind, which is a free heal that you can do to yourself.
Second one's a free heal?
Yeah.
Ooh,
So if you look at the little box where it says second wind 1,
Yeah,
and then you have the ability, you're probably seeing me click the button. If you click the word second wind, it'll populate and show you what second wind does, which basically gives you back a D10 worth of hit points because you're used to getting beat up and taking a quick breather and getting back to the fight. So when you take a second wind, you have a limited well of stamina you can draw from to protect yourself from harm. On your turn, you can use a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your fighter level. Once you use this feature, you must take a short or long rest, which is ridiculous that you can take a short rest to get it back. It's basically how D&D makes people want to play fighters because they're awesome.
Yes, they are. Woohoo.
And I'll totally have to make you a dice for that if you want.
Sure.
And you will notice that you have fighting style under your global AC modifiers checked. So basically, anytime you're in armor, make sure that's checked, which it should be. And you have a long sword. You've got 2 options. You can either swing it one-handed or two-handed. Just remember, if you're swinging it two-handed, it means you're dropping your shield, which your AC goes down by 2.
Versatility.
Yep. But honestly, what's 2 points? Just wield the long sword and get that plus 2 AC. Sorry. So who wants to go next?
I didn't do exactly a background yet. I kind of just rolled my dice.
Well, do you have your personality traits and ideals and that type of thing?
Yeah, so I have like all my basic stuff in there, but I'm still like developing a story to go with that. But I can tell you my basic personality traits, ideals, bonds, flaws, and stuff that I rolled for.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so my personality traits. Well, my name is Luna Whiteheart. I am a celestial warlock, Calico. My patron is the Hope Weaver that has blessed me with a crescent celestial like moon on my forehead.
Cool.
Let's see here. Personality traits. If someone is in trouble, I am always ready to lend help. Ideals, respect. People deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. Bonds, my tools are symbols of my past life, and I carry them so that I will never forget my roots. And my flaws, I have trouble trusting in my allies.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
She doesn't trust us. What's your background?
That I'm still kind of putting
No,
together.
I'm a
it's
noble
folk hero.
background.
And I'm a soldier.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My background's a folk hero. Yeah.
Folk hero. Okay.
She's a hero of the people.
I did a folk hero one.
Okay,
And
cool.
seeing as her patron is this big, cute, glowy golden cat that looks like he would be at a sushi restaurant counter. And I like how you all just giggle at that, but that's kind of what the guy looks like.
Well, I think her patron and my goddess will get along just fine. And it's funny because my goddess has a star on her chest.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. I created okay, well, I'll just go next since, I, as a cleric, since my power is divine, I'm like, well, who is a Felis going to pray to? I didn't want to do one of the regular run of the mills. So I created a goddess.
Nice.
So
You go, girl.
it's a creation myth actually for the so Lovey was born into clan. It's all in my bio, so you can all read it. But Basme is the first Felis, basically. She's the goddess that created the Felis. And her symbol is a 4-pointed star. Basically gold on a field of russet white, or a russet one with a gold outline. Okay, because she was a pure white familiar, but she had that one star on her chest. So, but it's in my the bio info tab, so you guys can all read it. But she is a noble, and her personality traits, like, I take great pains to look my best and always have a penchant for the things that sparkle and shine. Ideals, again, everyone should aspire to something. And you can create your own. You don't actually have to completely roll. Some of them I rolled, some of them I augmented. But to fit how I saw the character. Everyone should aspire to something, be it social standing, transcendence, or simply a snapping spot. Have a goal, people. For her bonds, family. Blood runs thicker than water. So she's all for Team Clan Yowl and all for Felis. It's like the others are just lesser beings. So she's always going to put a Felis or Clan Yowl first, type of thing. And her flaw, though, is I may be a tabby, but I'm anything but common, and I will happily remind you of that. She's a bit of a snob. So she will be happy to remind people how affluent, because, like, she actually lives at Sunrock. Yeah, she oh, down at the Sunrock Village, where I live. Because not very many, there's only so much space, there. So, but, my mother,
I'm
the
from the
clan
Sun Rocks
elder.
too, I'm from the Sun Rocks too.
Well, yes, but my mother, the clan elder.
Just remember,
Name dropper.
if you're in Sunrock Clan, but you're not on Sunrock Clan, you're under the rock.
No, Sunrock Village is like all the clan leaders are there, but not everybody gets to actually live in the village. But my mom's the elder, so of course I live there. Yeah. In my bio, basically, that to temper my or let's see here. She can be a bit haughty at times, but not to an unfeeling-like degree. The clan mother chose clergy for me to help temper this tendency, as well as foster my aptitude in magic and the martial arts. I'm 2.5 feet tall, and I am a long-haired orange tabby, but I have a lot of white on me. So even though I'm fluffy, I'm really kind of small and skinny. It's just my fluff, belies my slender frame. And I have big green eyes, and a purr that is what did I say? A purr that can bring comfort to the injured and healthy alike.
Nice.
Oh, and the name of my goddess, or the goddess, is Basmi.
Okay.
I like that.
She's a little full of herself.
Well, if you grew up with my advantages, you would just know that it's not bragging so much as I'm just telling you as it is. As a friend. Inspiration!
She's going for an inspiration machine.
Okay, so Cecil, why don't you introduce yourself?
Alrighty. So I don't have my stuff yet, but I do have a loose background for Cecil.
Okay.
So
I love your picture, by the way.
So as of right now, he's probably about 50 years of age. And so he, as an infant, was left on the doorstep of the guild. And he had a master, and his master brought him up till about 12 years of age, and then left to go on an adventure. And basically told him, like, hey, wait up for me, kid. I'll be right back. And the problem with Cecil is he's very literal.
Oh.
That's a flaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just sad.
Yeah, the destroyer.
So, he's kind of been around for a while, around that guild, at least in that town.
So if you'd like, by the way, I did post in the comments this sage background where it's got some suggestions for your traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. So if any of those pop out to you, feel free to put them in there or come up with your own.
Okay.
Just make sure you pick something that is likely to happen, because the more likely it is, the more often it actually happens.
Okay.
So we did do the little poll for the story for you guys that collectively y'all decided that you're a group of Felis on a mission who just stepped off a ship at a big port city, and we're totally going to use, Freeport because we already have stuff for that city. The Daggers game.
Uh-huh.
And so you guys are new to the big port city. You guys all decided that you are running after someone or something. And I did decide what that is at your village where you all knew each other. I'll let you guys decide how you guys became a team. But a group
I think the clan elders would have put us together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I was given this mission.
A group of humans.
Well, the mothers determine what professions we become. They pick and choose it for us. So I'm assuming that the mothers and the elders got together and said, we need some people to go on a mission. Select who you think would be. So I think we were probably handpicked by the elders and the mothers.
Okay, so what it is that your goal, your MacGuffin that you're going for, is that at your community, you had a sacred cave of the historical cat gods that trace their lineage back to the first wizards familiars. There was 4 of these statues, these nice great stone statues, of the cats. It looks almost like Cat Buddha. Good luck kitty. That these archaeologists coming to study your culture actually desecrated the tomb and shattered the statues. And obviously when you
All of them?
4 of them, the main ones, and
How can it?
and upon investigating this, you guys realized that these were like terracotta warriors. They're hollow on the inside, and they
Okay.
took whatever was inside them.
Oh.
Basmi is most displeased.
And one of you thinks, most likely are a wizard because books,
Yeah.
believes that it's sacred texts because it looked like the right shape and size, and there's a little piece of paper hanging down there that ripped out of one when they took it out of the broken stone. So you think they stole 4 sacred texts from these, terracotta cats.
Oh, okay.
And you were basically hunting the human and his 3, hirelings, because that was what you guys kind of got from them, that they were following his lead. And
Okay.
you basically, he stole from you guys and took off like a thief in the night on his ship. And you guys got on board the next ship that came to port, because of course you guys are great novelty. So of course people travel to where you are to see you guys. Cute little cat people, come on.
Yeah, and keep the boat rat free.
I mean, the fact that you're small enough to be down on the bottom deck slaughtering all the bilge rats, come on.
Not I, of course.
So
But
now that we've covered your character sheets and little story fluff.
one thing on the character sheets, though, you guys, I like to be able to tab back and forth rather than I prefer toggling.
So do
I
I.
don't like so I can toggle back and forth between my character sheet rather than clicking on the journal every time. In your in
Click
the
the gear.
settings, my settings, you can actually pop out the enable the use the window pop outs for characters.
It'll
That
be
way
the
you can
second
alt
checkbox.
tab between your character sheet and the maps. I find it easier, so you guys might prefer that.
That's
So
what I do too.
So if you pull up the gear for my settings, it's the second one that says use window pop-outs for characters. It now means your character is no longer trapped in Roll20. It's its own separate window that you can alt-tab to.
Nice.
Okay.
So again, it's
Yeah,
less
I
clutter
prefer
on the map.
Exactly.
Speaking of map.
Ooh, look at that.
So you may want to zoom in or out of the map.
Ooh, yeah.
So one thing to remember for you guys is you are small size creatures. So even though you're in a 5-foot square, you technically only take up like half of that. So two of you
So two of us can be in the same square.
Exactly. 2 of you guys can stack up, which is amazingly deadly because that means technically 4 of you could all flank somebody at the same time, which is absolutely terrifying, and then just shred them to pieces.
Because then we get advantage.
So if you click on your character, you'll see a bunch of little circles will pop up. So in the red circle, I have it set for your hit points. The green circle, if you want, I can put it so it has your spell slot. So if you cast a spell, you can click in that circle and you'll notice a box will pop up. And if you just put minus a number enter, it'll automatically do the math for you. And you'll
Since we do have a heavy caster group, that probably would be a good idea.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to flip to your character sheet and go to the spell thing and then click down and all that good stuff. So
You can just do it on your thing right there.
Like, I'm going to totally use Lovey as an example. So on Lovey, I'm clicking her character. The bubbles pop up. I'm going to her red 10. I click on it, and you guys can follow along too, because anything you can do can be fixed, because I can just go copy, paste, and paste your character. Just don't hit delete, because then it deletes the token. So click on the red bubble, and a little white box pops up. And the -5, or just pick a number, and you hit enter, it'll drop your hit points that number. See that?
Yep, just like that, Nova.
And you can all see each other's life bars, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
figure in real life, you would know what your friends look like wounded-wise, so why not be able to see the life bars? You can't see the numbers, but you can see the life bars.
And as a cleric, I really appreciate that.
Cecil, you look like shit.
All of a sudden you realize, dude, you got rolled.
Hit points left.
You know, you may be cool like John Wayne, but you are fucked up.
Yeah, just remember, Nova, you're a glass cannon.
Yeah, I am.
You know,
Lots
get
of
behind me.
power in a
I got you. Stand behind me.
And you'll notice on your character sheet too, the number reflects whatever you type in on your token. They're tied together. So if you go back to your character sheet and put yourself back up at full health, your token will get back up to full health too.
Oh, okay. Can I do it from the red at all?
You can do it from the red too. Yep.
Just
Okay.
like
So
plus
you know
5.
you have 7. So if you put +5 or just put the number 7 with no plus or minus.
Sorry, I'm pressing all the wrong
And
buttons.
the blue button should be
There
your
we go.
armor class.
Yeah.
That way, if I say, will a 10 hit, you can click your character and see what your armor class is right off the bat. That you're, you know, for Cecil, armor class is 11. So just by clicking your token, you can see what your armor class is in the blue button. And for Cecil, he's got his spells per day in the green circle. So if you were to cast a first level spell, you would just hit that green bubble, hit -1, and you know that you have 2 spells left.
Hey, they've added more of the little pictures.
Actually, they've been, ever since Roll20Con happened, they've been adding, for those who subscribe, more icons. So what Kelly's talking about is if you click your token
Cool.
and you click the little circle at the bottom that looks like a camera lens, there's little features you can mark your token with. So like the usual one is like, see this cultist here? In Star Wars, when you can have one token that represents 3 people, I do things like put 3 different slots. So you know there's 3 tokens there. Or the red cultists have swords, whereas the blue cultists have crossbows. So that way, at a glance, you guys can tell which ones have swords and which ones have crossbows.
He can also put an X in them, like on my character here, and that says, "Oh, that one's dead."
That way you know where the
There's
bodies
a
are.
ninja mask that we did for stealth. Is that the ninja mask?
Oh, at the ninja?
The ninja, there's a ninja
That's
face,
ninja-
there's all sorts
That's the
of...
ninja face?
But there's a lot of other
That's
tokens that they've added to the game. And if you scroll all the way down, there's some new official D&D tokens too for stuff like Screaming and Sentry Gun, you know.
Yeah.
They basically just added a bunch of little freebie stuff for folks, which was cool because it was part of their holiday. Hey, you're a subscriber. Here's some freebie stuff.
Yeah. My character's apparently asleep, so I can tell it she's asleep.
And if you
So
see
like if somebody casts sleep, you can actually go in and put, okay.
They're snoozing.
If Cecil casts his sleep spell, we can mark which ones are asleep. Don't attack those.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can
And
mark
when-
someone invisible now. Cool.
And when you mark your token and you click the gear, that shows you the mechanics of your character. You don't really need to worry about those. I've got them all set up for you. But as Kelly will notice, they've changed a little bit.
Yeah.
You now click the ... buttons to make sure other people can see things. Which is interesting. But you can add like auras to your character. So like, say this cultist has a sickness aura on him. Boom. If you get within this aura, you are affected by his sickness.
Like I just changed my name from Lovey Yal to Lovey just for the token.
Mm-hmm. So if you want to change your name, you'll see if you click the gear, it's got general, represents character, and then there's a little question mark. And there's a drop down of which one of the characters it represents, and then you can click nameplate to show the character's name, and then you can modify it.
Yeah, I changed mine from Nimitz of Clan Howell to Nimitz.
Mm-hmm. And just like when I made you guys, I removed your real names off your tokens because it just muddied it up a lot.
Yeah.
made the name too long.
Uh-huh.
So some of the basic tools that you have here in the game is when you look on the top left-hand corner of the screen, do you guys see this cool little ping I'm doing?
Yep.
If you
Yeah.
have the pointer arrow picked on your tools and you have the select move tool, that lets you hold down for 2 seconds and ping your color. If you'd like to change your color, at your nameplate down at the very bottom where the color is, you can click the color box and change the color. And that's how we tell who's doing what, because we all see each other's pings and colors. So with the arrow, you can move your character and you can ping on the map to say this guy or which building you're running into. The next one you have is the pencil. That lets you basically draw on the map in whatever color you have. If you use draw shapes, it draws a actual square, and then you select the inside color and the outside color. I've got a cool tool that lets me do this, which is special effects. I'll do them on occasion when the Roll20 is being very helpful, because sometimes it makes the game lag really bad. Then you've got the magnifying tool for zooming in. Honestly, I recommend
Cool.
holding control and using your scroller mouse wheel if you have it, or using the plus minus bar up in the top right corner. It's way easier to control than blipping from like 10 to 100.
My scroll wheel just works for that.
And then Kelly's jumping. Oh, it's Carrie jumping ahead of the class. Next, you have that circle
No,
with the measuring
It's
tape.
me.
What? It's not me.
It's me.
If you click on that,
Yellow, not
it shows you what
orange.
Kelly's playing with, which is the measuring tool. So you can say, my spell is good for 15 feet. Will it reach? And you realize, yes, it will reach. So if you click the tool, it then lets you measure out, and we can all see when you measure, so you can be like, hey, guys, I can do this within a 20-foot circle.
Where'd my character go?
What did you do to your
Carrie
character?
deleted it.
What did I do?
Let's see if she's hiding under somebody. Nope. She deleted her character. Carrie's
Wow.
the first by probably hitting delete or backspace.
You probably had it highlighted in.
Let's put it this way.
How did we do?
I'll give you your character back this one time, but you'll have to pay for it next time. And only you can move your character, by the way. I mean, I can totally hijack your character, but only you can of all the players, only you can move. So you guys have a base movement speed of 25 feet. So you basically just target your center, and then here's how 25 feet go out. You can always ask one of us to do this while you move your character, because if you try to do this, as soon as you let go, it disappears.
Yeah.
So you can say, hey, so right, and then if you want to ping, you have to go back to the select tool to ping.
Okay.
Then the next tool we have is the turn tracker, which you should all see a little box pop up that says turn order.
Yep.
Mhm.
So to roll initiative, you basically want to make sure your select move tool is picked, the pointer on the top. You highlight a character, which like I'm going to highlight one of my commoners. And then on your character sheet, you want to pull up the character sheet, you click initiative. Now it only works if you have your character clicked on, so make sure you select your character.
So your token, basically.
You have to
So
click
on
on
the
your
map,
token.
you click on your token, and then you click on initiative, the word initiative, on your character sheet, and that's when it.
You have to make sure your character is highlighting and you're seeing the little bubbles, because if not, it doesn't know what exactly the initiative you're rolling is for. It's weird.
I rolled 18. Woohoo!
And then when everyone rolls initiative, I clean it up by going descending order, boom, and we now know what the initiative order is. And if you look, if you wave your mouse around the people that are on the turn order, you see a little yellow box pop up. So that'll let you know whose turn is next.
Who's next, so to speak.
That's nice if you have a whole bunch of people.
Cool.
You're like, okay, which one of those guys is going next? So you know, you can tactically do your thing. Then under that, you see a D20. So click the D20, or just wave your mouse around it, and then it'll pop up with a bunch of hiccups, a bunch of dice. So the first
Again, I roll a 1.
get rid of them now. The first column is going to be just a 1D whatever. So 1D6, 1D10, 1D12. The next one is 2D, and then 3D, then 4D, then 5D. So it's basically just a quick way to roll dice. If you want, you can always type /roll space and whatever dice you want to roll, and it'll roll that for you. You can even do 1d10 plus 5, so you just have to make sure the plus is right after the dice size. So that's an easy way to roll extra
still
dice.
Really great to use your character sheet for like the spells and your like weapons and stuff, because then you can do the damage right there as opposed to a separate
That's
roll.
what I like.
And it puts it there. But you do have the ability. So like for example, we'll be in Star Wars game and we have to roll a critical. So we can go in and roll a D100.
It's actually got the macro for it.
And that will,
And the nice thing is, as you get more criticals, it keeps remembering to put the plus 10 for each critical, and it does all the math for Star Wars, which is really nice.
Okay.
And you can turn on in settings the 3D dice if you want to see dice bounce across the table. Personally, I say don't because it causes a lot of lag.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I do it every now and then. But
it takes a while for it to come up.
And sometimes when you click something and nothing happens, you'll want to refresh your screen by either going to settings and hit reconnect, or just hitting the refresh button on your web browser. Because sometimes, since it's a website that's remote desktop, it loses connection sometimes. We'll still see everything going on, but when you try to click dice, it's not doing the dice macro.
Okay.
So since we're at this point and you guys are feeling all comfortable, let's go ahead and have, let's see, we're missing Luna's initiative. Luna, go ahead and roll initiative for your character.
Hold on a second, I had to step away. All right, what am I doing?
So click on Luna on the map.
Click on your token on the map.
And then on your character sheet, click initiative.
I'm looking, bear with me.
So it's where it has initiative in the very top middle of your character sheet.
It's in the square box next to the shield box. The one that looks like a shield. There you go.
That's the one. So thanks to the handy dandy descending order there, we have our initiative. So combat has started. Our cute little Felis have been apparently attacked by some ruffians because, the jerks.
Is this our placement?
Yep, this is obviously our placement because our wizard ran out in front. We're just doing a quick mock fight. It's okay. This commoner is inside the house, not on the roof.
Enemies.
So first, Nimitz, you've got these 4 commoners with clubs.
Somebody told him to wait over there.
What are you going to do, Nimitz?
Well, they're attacking us, right, you said?
Yes, combat is ensuing. Violence is happening. So you're running 15 feet over there to get in front of this guy?
Yep. And I'm going to attack with my longsword and my shield.
Okay. So she just clicked her longsword, and she rolled a mighty 9 against the commoner. The commoner. And unfortunately, as you swing your longsword in a hurry, they kind of like pull up their club in a defensive stance and just block your sword blow.
Damn it.
So now remember, when you have your turn, you have 3 things you can do. You can move, You can take an action, which is either a skill or a attack or a spell type of thing. And then you have a bonus action, which a lot of characters like our Warlock can heal someone with her healing power as a bonus action. Our Cleric's got some spells that are good for bonus action. I don't know if our Wizard has any bonus action yet, but our Warrior can heal as Swift Wind is a bonus action.
Second one.
And when you do move, one nice thing in 5th edition is you can split up your movements. So it means, like in this case, Carrie moved 15 feet, so she could, in theory, move 10 more feet if she wanted to.
Yeah,
Let's
I gotta
say
go protect Cecil.
Now, one thing you got to be careful is if she leaves the circle that
Oh wait, I could be at an attack advantage, so never mind.
you would give him an attack, what's called an attack of opportunity.
Attack of opportunity.
So anytime, if she stepped this far away, as soon as she stepped out of his circle, he basically gets a free attack to pop her in the butt with his club as she runs past. Because you can do a basic attack. So for most folks, it's just your basic weapon attacks. Some casters get some attacks they can use, which is nice. But for most folks, it's just a regular basic attack. So,
All right, well, I've done my attack.
So Nimitz is good there.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, my turn.
It is Lovey's turn, who's been strategizing with some measuring
this is
tape.
5 feet, so I can move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Okay.
Now, what path did you take? Because that would give him an attack of opportunity.
This is grass. No, I went around Nimitz.
Okay, so you went this way?
Yep.
Yes. They're allowed to do that
Okay.
because you can go through the same space.
Exactly.
Well, no, Carrie, it's not that she went through your space.
No, I went.
She went this way.
Okay, sweetie, I went literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I took her on the path. You didn't see it?
You went, no, baby, unless you let go of the mouse, we don't see what your character's doing.
Okay. So then I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. So that way she avoided getting in this area, which would have given him an attack of opportunity. Okay, so what are you doing for your action?
Now this guy here, Sacred Flame.
Okay. So she's going to click her Sacred Flame. It's going to show what the abilities for the spell is. So it's a DC 13 dex. And if they fail, they take 7 points of radiant damage. I'm going to pull up my commoner card. This is my sound effects for it. And since I'm keeping my character stats secret, you guys don't get to see what my dex save roll is. So secretly, I have to copy paste what came up and share with you if I want. If I want to lie, it's totally like having a GM screen where you lie. But in this case, no, the commoner does not make their dex save because they rolled an 8.
Cha-ching!
So that means 7 points of damage.
Radiant damage.
Which immediately is the, oh no, radiant damage. 7 points, no less. Which means not only is this commoner dead, but
that's common ruffian.
This commoner is ridiculously dead. There's like a mound of burnt flesh and clothes.
That was me blowing on my smoking finger.
You know, I actually knew that's what you were doing.
So then it's Luna's turn.
Like,
Okay,
how dare you?
Luna is going to have a lot of questions right now. So first off, arrow. How did you guys make your arrow?
So
okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Sudie.
No, go ahead.
Do you see above the turn order thingy, or basically off to the left of the screen, there's that little toolbar that has the pointer, the paintbrush, and the magnifying glass. Well, the fourth one down is snap to center. So if you click on that, and then you can go ahead and determine wherever you want to measure. But also know that each square is 5 feet.
So make sure you click where it says snap to center, and then you can go on the map and play around with the pointer.
Okay. Well, I'll come back to that. What I want to know is the one that's right under Nimitz.
Mhm.
That's the one I want to do an Eldritch Blast on.
This guy?
Yeah.
Ooh, Eldritch Blast. That's a good one. Okay, go for it. And by the way, as a warlock, as you level, Eldritch Blast gets more and more abilities, like at longer distance, or it hits for more, or it knocks people back when it hits them. It's basically a warlock's main multi-tool.
It's your go-to.
At like level
Gotcha.
3, I think you can hit 2 targets or the same target twice. Okay, so you fired off an Eldritch Blast in such a panic that it kind of missed this guy because you didn't want to get Nimitz. And it kind of blew a chunk of the wall here next to him. As you know,
Thanks for
obviously,
helping, though, Luna.
it was a warning shot. Much like when Nimitz swung and missed, it was a warning shot.
Okay.
Now you do
But I
still
don't
have
warn.
Messing with the wrong kittens.
your movement and a bonus action.
Oh, the movement. Yeah, that thing.
Okay, remember that you're a caster and not a fighter.
I'm
right.
You only have 9 hit points, which is actually pretty good for a caster. But you know, your bread and butter is ranged DPS.
You do really well at that.
Less get up close and physical, more nuke 'em from afar.
Okay, so how would I go about moving? You guys gotta understand, it's like the first time I've done Skype, first time Roll20, and the only time I've ever played was those couple other games that I played with you guys, so yeah.
You're doing great.
Okay, now to move your character, since you oh no, that's Jim doing that.
So make sure you've got the pointer arrow selected on your toolbar on the far left.
Yeah, so that little bar on the left, if the little pointer is blue, that means the mover is selected, and then you can just basically click on your character and move it around.
And you
If
basically
you
have
just want to move your token, just pick it up.
Okay, right now you have the range,
The
the
snap-
click
this
to
is the
center.
snap to
the
click.
snap to center.
So on your toolbar on the far left side, you want to go up to where it has the pointer on the very top, the first choice, and then you want to click the little pop-up that comes up saying select/move. So you're basically changing your pointer tool. Once you do that, you should be able to click on your token and see the bubbles pop up. Once you see the little blue boxes, you can pick up and drag your character wherever you'd like. So you want to click and hold. There you go.
There you go.
Yep, just like that.
Uh-huh.
And that was what, 2 moves?
That
That
was
was
just
actually
5.
1.
That was 5
That was
feet.
5
So
feet.
you can move. Here's where you were, and you have a range of 25 feet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, in theory, you have a climbing speed of 15, so you could move there
You
for
could get up on
5,
the roof.
get up on the roof, and you're right here. So you
Yeah,
could.
but to avoid the
Gotcha.
attack of opportunity.
So can I also move and fight in one turn?
Yep, you can move. So say you want to move right here, then hit the guy, and then you still have 20 feet of movement to move away.
But
if
now,
you-
if you get that close to him and then try to move away from him, he gets an attack of opportunity on you, which means he gets a free hit at you.
Oh, so I don't want to move that close.
Exactly.
No.
That's why I was mentioning you're a ranged caster. You really don't want to get that close. And from where you were originally, you could nuke any one of these guys. Like, you don't have to move at all to hit him or him. Is this guy inside the building or is he on the roof?
That guy's inside the building.
Okay, so you can't actually see him, but you can, from where you are, you can hit either one of these guys. Okay, so Eldritch Blast. Oh no, that's Jim typing. Okay.
That's me typing. Yeah, she already did the Eldritch Blast and it missed.
But you wanted to attack this guy, right?
Well, that's
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
attempted and she missed. She rolled an 8.
But now if you wanted to move away, because remember, see where above Eldritch Blast it says 120 feet? You can be 120 feet away from him and still hit him.
And that's only 50 feet right there to give you an idea.
Yeah.
Eldritch
be
Blast is like shooting a longbow arrow.
Oh,
Exactly.
gotcha. Okay.
Whereas like my Sacred Flame, it's only 60 feet.
Which means she can only cast it
But-
out this far.
I'm also a melee person, so I don't mind getting close because if you notice, my hit points and my AC is 17. So I'm designed to, you know, both
Be hit back.
heal and hit.
Whereas
I'm
our
a
poor
melee
casters are only
and a
11.
caster.
I'm all melee.
You two are both all caster for the most part. Carrie and I can melee. Carrie's all melee. I'm melee.
I'm all fight.
Exactly.
Kelly is melee adjacent.
Yeah. I'm the backup tank.
Okay, well, I will just keep, diddling along here and watching how this is all working.
Well, it's now Nova's turn. So, Nova, what would you like to do?
Alrighty. So, quick
He's
question:
next in the initiative.
is there another way to open your character sheet? Because mine pooped out.
Yeah,
So-
you just go over to the journal tab next to the, you know how you have the chat win at the top. You
Yeah.
have you just click on the journal and then click on your character again. Or
Yeah.
do you mean it disappeared?
It's
Did
No,
you set it to pop out?
so it's
Yeah,
popping
it
out,
comes
but
out in the phone window.
it's not loading.
Okay, so that means you probably got disconnected.
Behind it. Oh.
So first hit Alt Tab to see if it's on another tab. If you don't see it there, then that means you probably got disconnected. So you want to click either refresh, F5, or reconnect in settings. All three do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All of a
Let
sudden
me-
your screen will go blank and it'll relaunch basically.
Yeah, you're on a tablet, right? You said?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
could be
so your
timing out on
connection
you.
might not be as.
Okay. Well, I am refreshing.
And in the comments, I did share a really nice D&D cheat sheet that I like. It's web-based, so that way you can use it on your smartphone and stuff. And it has the movement, the action, and the bonus action listed out of what they are. And if you click on it, it has a pop-up telling you the actual game rules. It also gives you environmental stuff and conditions like blinded, charmed, deaf, and that type of stuff.
Nice. Let's see. All right. Everything's loading. Hold on.
Nova, let me know if you want the other computer.
Okay.
Because your brother already has it set up in his room.
Totally jack his machine.
You be jacking my machine. Are you kidding me?
Let's see. Well, I see if it's loading. I know at least
Fun to
I'm going to
be.
cast Ray of Frost.
You got some good cantrips. I mean, Ray of Frost and Firebolt.
Yeah.
The elements are yours to command.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be loading, unfortunately, on my end.
Love, I'm gonna go boot up the other computer for you.
Well, then why don't we take a quick 5, and I'm going to run to the restroom.
We transferred to Sean's room.
I'll be right back.
Yes, he should have it all hooked up already in here.
And I'm back. Did I live?
You died. Everyone
died.
died.
We're waiting for the other computer to update real quick.
It's okay.
Oogly doogly.
My lovely youngest is wonderful with stuff like this.
And one nice thing is the game chat will stay so that at any time you guys can log in to the chat and read what was done in game or click any links, even though we're not playing, the chat lobby always stays open.
Okay.
And I did just post in the link, there's first I put the D&D cheat sheet, but I did just post the Roll20 chat commands. So if you want to see what other commands you can do using, actual command typing, it's got those in there. Just in case something like that's something you need.
Oh, finally.
And another thing we can do in a pinch is that 2 people on one account can play 2 different characters.
Yep.
So in a
Okay.
pinch, we can give Zoe access to having Cecil's control, so that way you can just push her out of her seat and take the seat over, take a turn, and have let her jump back in her seat.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I have access to Carrie's characters a lot of the time. And if
Okay.
necessary, I could go in, click like her initiative or whatever, and
And she's
Okay.
powerless to stop her. The power.
I mean, at the very least, I should be able to roll a die to cast Ray of Frost, can't I?
Uh-huh. You could totally do it that way. I mean, if you want, I could even go in there and make you do it.
I'm cool with that. But yeah. Ray of Frost on this person.
I'm sorry, which one?
That one right there.
Okay.
Because I believe I'm within range.
Oh yeah, you're within 5 feet of them, and
Oh,
Ray
yeah,
of
you're
Frost
like-
is 60 feet.
yeah.
So yeah, you fire a Ray of Frost at them, and you definitely hit with that good
Okay,
solid 11. So
11 will hit.
can you click the word Ray of Frost, or are you not up yet?
Let's see. I can click Ray of Frost. There you go.
So 5
Good,
points of
5
damage.
5 points of frost damage.
As you immediately
Nice.
cover them with the rim of frost, as you can see them just shaking as they slowly just fall to the ground, dead, frozen.
You gave him the cold shoulder.
Okay.
Looks like it's a full day in hell for him.
Now the question is, do you want to move? You do have a speed of 25.
I'd back up if I were you, just in case. Or actually, you might want to move. Well, you might want to move a little closer to me or behind me, because that way you could
Yeah.
always fire on the one that Nimitz and Luna were attacking, because that's the only one
Yeah.
that we see that's left.
Probably
Because right
I
now
can't-
you have an well, is that
Yeah.
count as obstructed, sweetie?
Probably a little.
He's got a clear line of sight still. If
Okay.
this guy was one square over, he would
Then it would
be
be-
at disadvantage for the shot.
All right. Well, then you're technically good. You can hit the other guy as well.
Are you sure, though, is the question.
So I could attack a second time?
No, you've already taken your action, but you still have your move and any bonus actions, which I'm assuming you don't want to use any bonus action stuff yet.
Yeah, I'd wait on any bonus actions right now.
Okay.
So you could totally move up to 25 feet if you'd like.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big circle that you can move in.
Gee. I clicked the wrong one.
And that's the drawing tool.
Yeah. I meant to go right here, but it doesn't seem to let me.
So in
You
the
have to make sure you
tools,
click on the.
Oh.
Go ahead.
click the select, and then a pop-up comes up saying select/move. That's the hardest thing in Roll20 to get tripped up on, is forgetting to go back to the move tool. So click the pointer and click the little box that comes up saying select move.
Yeah, I've
and
got
then you
that,
can move
but-
your character.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's not letting me. It's just giving me draw boxes. So for the meantime, I don't think I'm gonna move. Anyways.
I can move you if you'd like.
Oh, can you? Okay.
Yeah, just ping the map and I'll put you there.
He's
Well,
God.
you got me exactly where I wanted to go.
I could have swore that's where I saw the ping, so I just want to make sure. So it's a good thing you did move, because now it's their turn. So this guy is going to swing on Nimitz because, the cat did try to chop his shins off with the sword.
Well, he started it.
They just threatened you with clubs. They didn't actually hit anybody yet.
We're
Yeah,
already,
he's right.
we are already on edge. After all, we have been robbed.
Hey, I didn't do my battle cry of
As all of a sudden your cat loses her stuff in the house. So will a 12 hit you, Nimitz?
No,
yeah,
it
I
won't.
doubt it.
Nope.
Okay, so that guy's perfectly fine with where he is. But this guy wants to come out and play. So that's 10 feet from to come out the door. It's a good thing that our wizard moved, because if not, he would have been like right there within smacking distance. And he's going to come out and go after Lovey. And he brings out his
Playing
little
it
war club.
scruffy.
And he's like, "You cats! You were yowling all night." And will a 6 hit you?
Not us.
A 6?
A 6.
No.
See, you were complaining about all those
Please.
natural ones.
My turn.
Okay, so top of the order. It's Nimitz's turn.
I'm going for the guy in front of me, and we're doing the same thing.
Okay.
Yes.
24 would
Nice.
totally miss, right? No. Okay, go ahead and roll for 11
points of
slashing damage
damage.
as Nimitz just
dead.
brings the sword down, cleaving this commoner in half.
And then I'm going to go to him.
Not intimidating at all. But if you were to go right
You could have
here,
gone behind him to get.
that would have given Lovey
Yeah, I can
advantage
go
for the
there.
attack. You could totally move there without
We'll give him an
provoking-
attack of opportunity on you.
No,
Give
it
it.
won't.
No.
Only if he moves
Oh, that's right,
outside the
because you
circle.
weren't already engaged. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So then it's going to be Lovey's turn.
I'm tempted. Let's see here. Hold it. What is my? I'm not very charming. I'm not very intimidating.
I'm going to jinx whatever you do with the stink eye.
Like, maybe I didn't want to kill him outright. Let's see here. I'm going to bludgeon him with my mace.
Poor bastard.
Have at you.
Let's hope those
filthy
ones are still
creature.
coming up.
Nope.
Okay, so yes, an 18 will definitely hit. And how much damage did you get for 6 points?
6. I'm kind of hoping he's going to be alive so we can question him.
6 killed another one.
As 6 kills this one too. As she kind of swings her mace
I'm
right
fine with
into
that.
his rib cage, and you just see
We're
like
terribly
chunk,
sorry about the mess.
as there will be stories spoken of these cats that you don't mess with. Bards will come and sing the musical of the cats. Come on, that's a joke. You're supposed to laugh at that, guys. Okay, so that's pretty much how combat works in D&D.
And then loot the bodies.
And you get no
Traditionally.
loot because you just robbed poor commoners.
No, I'm just saying traditionally you would loot the bodies. But
In every house, someone has a treasure chest, okay?
You just have
That's
to
how
get
it
past the
works.
orphans to get to it.
Yeah.
Aw.
Well, if they had not been such ne'er-do-wells and attempted to take away our,
And
like,
much
this-
like Buffy,
they
the bodies
brought it
disappear.
upon themselves.
Don't you know orphans are the worst creatures in D&D?
Where do you think liches and warlords come from? I mean, happy functional people don't become liches or warlords. Only orphans.
Shiny happy
You have
people.
a point there, actually.
Functional people they join guilds. Whether it's
Yeah.
artisans or wizards, they join guilds.
It's like, is my tunic okay?
So pretty much that's it. I mean, that's all you need to know about how to play D&D on Roll20.
Nice. Now, are we able to kind of edit our character sheets out of game?
Yes. So now
Oh.
that you've logged in and I've given you total access to your character sheet, you can totally come in at any time. You'll see whatever excuse me, whatever splash screen I have you guys set up with, which usually I'll try to default back to this one.
Okay.
Because I changed what the game mats look like. So that way you'll be on this and you can see your character. And if you want to change what the icon is that you have, you would go to your character sheet, click the edit button. And when you click the edit button, you'll see that there's a bio that you can fill out at the bottom and bio and info. There's the, I think you guys can't see the GM notes because that's just for me to put notes on your character sheet if I want. But you can click remove on the avatar and remove on the default token to take those out and replace them with something.
Okay.
And in theory, you can click it so nobody else can see your sheet but you, but why? And you can totally archive your character too. So that way if you want to play the same character in another D&D game, when you archive the character, it puts it in basically a server so you can be accessed on different games.
Nice.
And you can also duplicate the character too.
Okay.
Usually that's for say I'm using a bunch of NPCs and I want separate character sheets for each. I can just duplicate, then change the name, and it's a totally different character. So instead of Commoner, it could have been Bob.
No, okay.
Bob and Stu. One of them you want to befriend, the other you want to kill. You don't know which is which. Doppelganger! So any questions, feel free to shoot me a message, or you can even post it in the chat in the game. So if you're messing around with something, you have a question, just post it in there and say, hey, I put a question in the game so that way I can answer it for everybody. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, just hit me up.
Okay.
As I'm closing some character sheets I had up. And of course you can also post in the Skype chat too. Which for those that don't have Facebook or don't check it, Kelly and Carrie.
Like me.
the Skype chat is probably more reliable to get messages. And of course we all have each other's cell phone numbers just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Great, my Sentry link just popped up saying that Roll20 is flagged as a dangerous site. Visiting could be harmful to your device. Now this big red ding across my whole screen.
Oh no. Basically, it's because Roll20 doesn't want to pay for certification. That, and you totally know your cats have malicious Mao collarware.
Right.
No.
So yeah,
Alright, did I miss anything in the last 10 minutes? I was trying to get the other computer up and booted.
Nope, I was just saying that's pretty much that's how Roll20 works, how D&D works. You can come into the Roll20 lobby anytime you want. You don't have to have me there. You can just launch the game and come in here and look at your characters, look at whatnot. You can edit your character sheets. If you want to change your pictures, because if you don't like the pictures I put in there, just click your character, and then when your character comes up, click the edit button. And it'll pop up and show you your pictures that you have for your avatar and the picture for your token. And you can add to your bio and stuff so that way other people can see it.
Cool.
But if you say you all have your on the names down below, where it shows all of us. If you, and like, you know how Carrie's has got a D20 and mine has my Lovey character, and you and Nova have the placeholder images. In order to change those images, you have to actually exit the game and go into your profile in Roll20.
Okay.
And it's really simple to just change the picture there. I mean, if you want to put in a personalized one. Otherwise, it'll just assign you a one of these geometric mosaics.
Little fancy schmancy things.
Yeah.
See on my
I'm
screen.
going to sign off, you guys. So, when's the next game?
So 2 weeks.
So not next Thursday, but the Thursday after.
Okay.
Because next Thursday's Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But it would be it would be the same Thursday regardless.
Yeah.
It's a 2 week.
And
every 2 weeks.
And in the Roll20, I'll also put in the lobby what the next game day is, so that way you'll have that there too.
Alrighty. Bye, guys.
All right.
Good night.
Bye.
Have a good night, guys. We miss you.
So any other questions?
No, I think I'm definitely going to spend the next 2 weeks like rack-a-lacking my brain on making sure I know what I'm doing.
Around.
Just remember,
Well,
it's D&D. It's meant to be fun. Don't stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nova.
Whatever. One question I do quickly have is for the personality traits, when you click on them, does it automatically add them to your character sheet, or?
No, you have to manually put those in there. So basically, if you click the link for the Sage background that I put in the conversation,
Yeah.
you can copy and then just paste it right in the box.
Oh, okay, cool. Perfect.
So, like, let me pull up your character sheet. So when you pull up your character, see how you got the gear showing in your personality, ideals, spawns, and flaws? Paste what you want in there and then click that gear, and then it locks it.
Oh, okay.
So when you see the dotted lines, you can write in there. When you click the gear, it'll make it so it can't be edited, so you don't accidentally write over stuff.
Okay.
So once you pick what you want, just type it in there or copy paste it. I'm horribly lazy, that's why I prefer copy paste.
Yeah.
And then just click the gear and it'll lock it down for you.
Perfect. I will do that.
Alrighty. Alright, in that case, that's a good place to wrap it up there.
Cool.
And I'll clear the tracker.
And now the ruffians will know not to mess with us.
You are the ruffians.
My reputation precedes me. Oh. Notice I don't say our.
Yeah.
Then they go running to the gold dragon that protects the kingdom and say, "These cats picked on us."
Nice.
And apparently you gave me the language Draconic, so I can tell that dragon, I think not.
Yeah.
And speaking of the languages, if you don't like the languages you have there, by all means you can click it and change it. You just click the name of the language and it should let you edit it.
Based on your background, whichever background you pick, can sometimes determine how many languages you know. As a sage, I wonder, you might actually get more. I get like one extra language.
I think I have 3 in total or something like that. I have to double.
And I have the next game already set, time-wise. So
Cool.
December 3rd at 7 p.m., 2 weeks from now.
God, that seems so far off.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that it's almost the end of the year.
I know,
Yeah.
November went so fast.